Well, I guess peptides giveth and peptides taketh away. If you haven't watched my other videos, I'm just some random dude who decided to try the peptides CJC 1295 and ipamorelin because I saw all these people talking about how great peptides are, that it's this miracle thing, but it turns out a lot of them were selling it, and I was like, I still kind of want to try it, even though I think that it might be a scam, and I don't have any peptides, so I am documenting my process trying peptides for the first time. I'm on cycle 2 now, halfway through cycle 2. So if you haven't hit subscribe, you can go back and watch my old videos. I talk about all the dosing and different things that happen during that. And I'm just basically anything big, anything small, I'm documenting. So I decided to go ahead and do my monthly scan a week early. Usually I would do this after the first month of this cycle, but I was in that town and I was like, let's just do it anyways. What's another week gonna hurt? And it hurt. It hurt more than I wanted it to hurt. So the main thing was here. You'll notice here that the muscle mass went down almost 3 pounds in 3 weeks. That's like almost a pound of muscle a week that I lost from the last scan. My body fat percentage went up from 17.9 to 19.1. And I didn't hardly lose any weight. My total weight only went down just like 2 points. So basically, almost all of my weight loss was muscle. I saw no fat loss whatsoever. So my first reaction to that was obviously pissed, and you start going through this thing of like, these peptides are stupid. Like this is a scam. I knew it. And you kind of go through all that and you kind of feel kind of bummed and you go through all that process. But I've also been around long enough that, I heard a great saying one time that said something like, ultimate leadership is finding responsibility where you actually have none. So I've really always kind of tried to make it a point to try to find like, well, where did I screw something up here? What's my role in what has happened here? And I think that once I actually got critical with myself about what that is and what these results, I think I was actually able to find some things. So for example, I think that I allowed myself to get into a little bit of a mindset that the peptides can overcome anything. And so I haven't probably pushed myself as hard as maybe I did in the first cycle. Part of that's because of that, me thinking, erroneously thinking that the peptides are greater than my lack of effort. But also, I'm frankly just not as excited in this cycle. It's not new to me anymore like it was in cycle 1. So day in and day out, it's not always on my mind. I'm not always thinking about what do I need to do to max out this process so that I'm getting the most out of this process. So I think that there is definitely places there because of those things where I did not put in what I should have put in order to allow the peptides, if they're doing something, to do what they're going to do. So that's really kind of where I'm looking at myself in this. I think, especially from like a dietary standpoint, I can look back at this month. I was very adamant about my protein intake on cycle 1, and I have not been as adamant about it on this cycle. So like it's another opportunity where I think that as I continue forward in this cycle for the next month and a week to really bump those things up and hopefully get that 3 pounds back, plus maybe a little bit more. I'm still working out every day. I'm still working out hard. I'm still pushing weight. I've actually hit PRs here over the last couple of weeks. So I like where my strength is at, but obviously I don't like that my body fat percentage went up and I actually lost muscle during this time frame. So it sucks. There's no way around it after all of this, and I'm still kind of trying to keep my head above water as far as not getting too far into like, well, this is pointless and it's all a scam and it's not doing anything. Because I'm not convinced of that either way, and I gave myself essentially at least 3 cycles for me to really test this out thoroughly. But cycle 2, if you go back and watch my other videos, is where the magic's supposed to start happening, where the results that from doing this now for this long are really supposed to start shining through. And my first scan has been absolute dog turds. So I'm just trying to kind of put a pin in that and just go like, that's on me, and so I got to do better for the rest of the cycle. So wanted to share that with you. A couple of other things. One is I reached out to my doctor. If you watched my last video, I mentioned that I had 2 new side effects that I had not experienced before. One was pretty heavy mood swing type of things. I didn't actually ask my doctor about that one. That wasn't the one I asked about. I asked about 2 other things. One was, and by the way, that's still fine. That part's doing okay. But I asked my doctor about one, the lack of the warming sensation whenever I take my doses at night. I had told her, every night through my first cycle, I would do that injection and I'd feel warm and fuzzy for 15 or 20 minutes after. It was awesome. I loved it. It was like doing drugs. And I said, I'm not getting that at all this cycle. And so I was worried that maybe it was maybe a symptom of lack of efficacy for this particular vial that I got. Maybe something was wrong with it or something. And she said, no, she's heard of the warming effect, but it doesn't have any impact on efficacy. It's just something that probably more likely has absorbed. My body has gotten used to taking this stuff now. I also asked her about the bumps and the itching from the injections this time. I've got in my injection sites almost like mosquito bites. I had none of that the first cycle. And then I switched to the other side, and then it started happening over there and actually bruised over there. She said low quality needles. It's a quality control issue with this particular package of needles. And the gauge, we didn't realize, is it's a slightly bigger needle than I was using last time. And I thought it hurt a little bit more. Last time it didn't hurt really at all. And this time it's hurt a couple of times. So she's calling me in some new needles from the place we got them last time, which are also skinnier and thinner. And I appreciate all that. So anyways, I told you guys I'd keep you in the loop. Anything small or big happened. This all was kind of big, I guess. And it stinks. But back on the horse, I appreciate having this opportunity to sort of take a step back and look at the big picture again and be reminded of look, peptides aren't the magic pill. That's one thing I will say for sure about this is when I started doing these videos, I said, I don't believe anything specifically about peptides. There's nothing I believe about them, but that changes as time goes on. And there are certain things that I believe about peptides, both from a sort of a result standpoint of things that they do. I mentioned my sleep got deeper, the warming stuff. There's some things that to me are obvious that are true. The mood swings or that, but I also think that from a bigger maybe picture or standpoint, something like I do believe that these are not a magic pill. At least this particular CJC 1295 and ipamorelin. A lot of those videos, to be honest, that I saw on TikTok, there are people talking about I shredded 10 pounds in 7 days. And even at the time I was like, no, you did not. You might have, but it wasn't just because of this. So I do with my whole heart believe that this isn't a magic bullet by any means. So, and since it's not a magic bullet, that means I got to do my part. And it's obvious from this result, from this test, I didn't do my part. So that's it. Hit subscribe, follow along. I got more videos coming. I'll do another video in another week. Right now, I'm just going to sit here in my turmoil and my aggravation for another week or so and let that fuel me to push myself to do better for the last half of this cycle, because this is where the magic's supposed to be happening. Thanks y'all so much for the videos, for the conversations, the comments on those. I appreciate all the insight. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not recommending any of this stuff. If you want to do it, check with your doctor. I'm just some random dude just sharing his experience and hoping to help some people out. So that's it. Thanks y'all so much again. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.